This is Tim Saldana, T-Rex from WJOB AM 1230, and I am the producer for Your Car Guy with Big George on every Saturday morning starting at 8 a.m. And I am on the phone at the moment with Jason David Frank, otherwise known as Tommy Oliver, and a lot of different various Rangers over the years. And Jason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Very, very good. As no doubt, Jason is heading our way for Chicago Comic Con, which kicks off Thursday all the way through Sunday. And how are you looking forward to that?
Man, I'm looking forward to it. This is, again, my second year in a row with Wizard World for Chicago. Fans are excited, and I love Wizard World. So I don't know what else to say. They're very organized. There's so many things for fans to do. I mean, so many different actors and things to buy. It's really a pulp culture, comic book stuff, and I'm excited about it. I'm about to start packing. I got to start packing all my stuff and got to bring both my suits because I'm doing the photo ops in the Green Ranger and the White Ranger, and there's actually a lot to pack. So
I'm sure.
I got to bring a lot of stuff I'm about to pack, but I'm very excited about Chicago, and I'm just excited working with Wizard World. They're just a good team of people, and they're like, my second family.
Absolutely, that's good to hear. Last time, a year ago, you and myself and my intern at the time, and he's coming back with me, we talked at the very end of Wizard World, the first day of Chicago Comic Con, and you were mentioned to me that you were in talks with Stan Lee of doing a solo Green Ranger movie. Any news on that?
It's funny because we had a lot of interest in just different writers and things going on. I had no clue at that time that when I was talking to Saban that there was even in works with Lionsgate coming in and doing a film. So, when I talked to him originally, it went from a movie to a TV series, and things are really well with Saban, by the way. I mean, obviously I'm posting them all the time, and they just treat me really, really well on the PowerRangers.com. You can see my reality show, and which we sold the reality show to Con TV, which is going to be huge, being launched on the end of the year. But in regards to the Green Ranger movie, Lionsgate's doing the movie, so I'm obviously on the top of the list for, cameos and stuff like that. We are working on a Green Ranger series, though, and nothing has been confirmed, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're super close. I'll know within a week or so, in talking to Bonds and Lionsgate, and we're just trying to figure out placement. And, first thing we had to do was find out, is it going to interrupt the franchise of the Power Ranger reboot movie? And it's not, so that's a good thing. And I'm really passionate about doing a Green Ranger series, so I can, tell all my fans basically where Tommy Oliver has been in the last 10 years and where Tommy Oliver is going. So I'm really excited about that one, and we should know within a week or so.
Excellent.
But that's what I've been working on, and then working on me and the Bat and the Sun. We did the Green Ranger Beatdown, which I fought Ryu, the Street Fighter, and the White Ranger Beatdown was great. We had like 5 million hits on it, and that's kind of how what happened with Saban. They saw the White Ranger Beatdown, and so they went and sought out after Aaron and Bat and the Sun. That's kind of how the doors opened up with talking about this Green Ranger series. And Aaron is who I want to direct it and who I want to work with. And if Aaron can't do it, I don't know what else to say. He's a genius when it comes to this stuff. But that's pretty much how it happened. And we filmed the Green Ranger Beatdown. I didn't know I had a broken foot at the time, so
Well, hey.
it was still a great fight. It's just I was very limited to a lot of jump kicks that I wanted to do.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, it still looks good though.
Cool, that's awesome. And you just touched on it. I was going to ask you, the Bat and the Sun reality show, My Morphin Life. I have been following it ever since you told me that it was going to debut over a year ago. And every time I check the old episodes, I mean, they keep rising in numbers, man. How's that make you feel?
It's great, man. I mean, the thing about this is, and I'm sure you're used to it with working radio shows of bringing interns up, or it's you got to believe in yourself. And when I started the reality show, it was just something fun for YouTube. It was really, season one's great, but I'm telling you, season two is high production. We got covered shots after covered shots, and it's interesting because when you're doing a show, you always try to figure out, like, well, how's this? I mean, we don't stage anything, so how is this really going to work out? I mean, a lot of these reality shows, they're just talking around a table in a kitchen. Like, my wife watches these shows, and there's just absolutely nothing to the follow, but people love them. And so when it came to me shooting, I put it around content, like, okay, I did the world record, and then the next episode I have the Power Rangers reunion, and, fans want a lot more than 8 minutes, 10 minutes, but with Con TV, that's what we're aiming for. This season 2, I have enough content to make hour shows. It's just last season it wasn't shot as well as I wanted to be, so I was very limited on, what we were doing. Now, Robert, who edits, he's a genius at it. I mean, he is phenomenal. Like, this guy, you can give him something and he can turn a story into it. And I kind of dumped all the footage on him, and when me and Aaron were talking about the Green Ranger series, like, he flew here and spent his own money, and, I did a shot for the White Ranger thing, and he really, looking at this, is you have to invest in yourself. And when he came out here, and I was like, man, I'm not too sure we can get the rights to the Green Ranger series, and I feel bad the guy bought his way here, but that's how we developed a relationship. Just I didn't know who he was and what he did, and he's just a great guy. And so I said, hey, can you help me out on the My Morphin Life? I have a whole season. I shot 10 episodes, and it's like mixed in hard drives, and it was a miss. Like, we shot it and we didn't organize the files, and so it was great, man. He came on board, and him and his dad spent like 30 to 40 hours scoring the movie. I mean, from sound effects to he designs this. He writes his own music for every show. I mean, so there's a lot of work that goes into it. And we're already done with 11 episodes of season 2. And season 2 just happened to be, first episode was a haunted episode. We went to a haunted house and crazy stuff happened, and we got it on tape. And, then Puerto Rico, we took Steve Cardenas skydiving, and we covered the Puerto Rico con, and Tammy crashed the car, and, it was just, and then it just kept going. And then we had Jenna's birthday, and then we did the base jump, and then I broke my foot, and the cameras were rolling, and they had followed us to Hawaii, and then the guys were here, the Super Mega Force guys. Some of them, cast was here at my house. It's really going to be a good season. And then, of course, we covered the Green Ranger beatdown, so we got a whole episode, a nice reality episode of that. Me filming and going to San Diego. The unfortunate part for me is that every episode I'm dealing with my boot, and I'm dealing with my foot in it, and I didn't want the storyline to be about that. But on the last jump of the base jump episode, which was supposed to be about Tammy jumping the bridge, I had a bad low. I pulled really low, and I had like some line twist and off heading, and in one more second I wouldn't even be here talking on the phone. I mean, that's how close it was.
Wow.
And we landed, and the boat's supposed to drive us back, and the boat was sinking. I mean, you name it. We have had stuff on this show that we would go into a Hawaii episode and think, what are we going to do here? And then a girl fell behind me, and we ended up trying to save her and help her along, and we kept seeing her around the island, and it's just crazy to me how it fell together. And we're starting season 3 probably in December. We have a last episode, which is going to be covering Johnny Bosch and our reunion. We haven't seen each other in a while at Salt Lake, and man, I'm happy with the way the show turned out, and I just can't wait for the fans to see season 2, because when I see season 1, I'm like, ugh. I like it, but oh my gosh, season 2, it's just covered and shot really well, and I'm excited about it. And then, with Aaron, the Green Ranger beatdown is going to be huge. Like the White Ranger beatdown, he definitely put his heart and soul in that, and it was great. I like it. I mean, it looked awesome, and fans are starting to recognize me from that more than anything else. They're like, around town, they're like, hey, I saw you fight Scorpion, and kind of like, for Aaron to take that and brand it like that is pretty interesting. So, the talks have been great with Saban, but I'm a loyal guy. I feel Aaron's the guy for the job, and he's a fan, and he knows what fans want to see. And his work's incredible and all that stuff. And then October, we have a release of a special ops movie that we did. I'm telling you, it's awesome. Like, I financed the project, much like you have to invest in yourself. I mean, I financed most of the cons, all the cons that I started into. I paid my own ways and bought my own hotels, and, I just begged pretty much for a table. I put a lot of work into it, and just kept coming back and saying, hey, let me come to your con, and I've been paying my own way, and, to this day, New York Comic Con, I still pay my own way. I mean, it's no big deal, and I don't take an appearance fee on any show I do. Like, I take no zero appearance fee. If they want to buy stuff at the table, it's on them. If they don't, I'm still going to sign stuff. So that's what I like about my job, is I don't feel obligated. But there was an investment to make me so popular in the con world, and there was an investment into My Morphin Life. I spent like 30, 40 grand shooting season 1 just to give to the fans. Like, I had no intentions, and I still don't make money on it. It's just no intentions of making money on it. But now I sold it, and it's like, wow, people actually like it, you know. And it's going to come back in even a bigger way the more that we produce these. Which the next episode will air on the 20th, which is the reunion episode. So I've invested in that, and then I took the Special Ops movie, and me and Aaron both sat down and said, hey, I believe in him, he believes in me, and we put money up for a Special Ops movie that will be announced in October that is the best action I've ever seen. We're fighting, I'm fighting with fire swords and
Oh, wow.
open hand and swords. And so then I was thinking the other day that if you want to make it happen for yourself, like when I was watching Kevin Hart, is that you have to invest in yourself. You're, like for you and your show, I'm not too sure what you do or who's involved in your show. I mean, I've met you before, but I'm saying in general, you have to take the time to invest in yourself, like taking the time out, rescheduling an appointment, and doing an interview. I just find it intriguing that in life, you just cannot sit back and think the world owes you. It's like I feel like I owe the world, and I owe, my fans a project that they can be proud of, and that's just the way I go into life. And the social media class, I'm doing a huge online social media Train Me JDS. It's going to be, I could train anybody from around the world. And that started by having a fan on Facebook that took lessons with me on Skype. And I taught him, and long story short, he took his life. And I didn't know I was a big part of his life when, he was doing that. But his mom said he looked forward to it every day in the garage, training with you. And done only like three classes or 4 classes with the kid. And, I mean, they buried him in my, Power Ranger stuff, and it just was a very emotional thing for me.
Sure.
And I sat back and I thought, man, if this meant the world to that kid, and if I only knew more, I could have done something more to motivate him. But I did motivate him through the classes, and then I got this hair up my butt thinking, I wanna teach the world, and how can I teach the world? So I put together an online training class called Train Me JDF, and that's going to launch soon. And again, I don't do that for money. I do it just because I want to reach the world and, educate people into the martial arts. So I think that's the key, is to, believe in yourself, but also get out there and be in communication with fans and be in touch with the world, and that's why I think my table is huge, and I'm constantly growing every single year, is because I'm taking the time, 12 hours, 14 hours a day, to really working hard and giving about 6 hours to 8 hours a day back into social media and, to reaching people. And I don't know, I just find it interesting. I guess I had to stop myself and ask, like, how I got so lucky. And it's just work, and it's being a real person to people. And, everyone gets their social media glitches and conflicts and all that stuff, but I try to rise above that, and I try to continue with what I do in life. And I think people like you that can get this message out to people is an important thing for me. That's why I do media, not to get more popular. I do media that maybe someone's listening to this right now and saying, hey, that's what I needed to hear, or hey, I can do what I want to do. All I have to do is say I can. And to me, that's what, if I, base jumped and died tomorrow, that I feel like I leave a legacy behind. I leave an impression of who I am and what I do. And when I hear something bad about a bad experience, I fix it, because that's not what JDF, me, is about. And, that's what's important to me. So whatever reason why I got in depth with you, for whatever reason, there's a listener listening now that's just, in my opinion, a divine appointment for them to say, hey, I need to get help, or hey, I can do what I want to do. And that's pretty much what's happening now, and that's how lucky I got. Aaron was a fan, and he put, me and him are going to be working together, and I'm telling you, we'll be doing this Green Ranger series, and you'll be able to play this for all the fans, and speak what you get. I'm going to speak a successful Green Ranger series, and coming soon.
Absolutely, that sounds fantastic, Jason. The other thing I wanted to touch on with you that we really didn't get a chance to talk about last year was the Jesus Didn't Tap that you're the CEO of, and I wanted you to kind of touch on that. Tell us what that's about, how you got involved with that.
Well, I started a clothing company, Jesus Didn't Tap, that's still being restructured today. I got some partners in it, and some partners come and go. But I started a clothing line that was just something positive that meant never give up. And I wanted to pick the ultimate fighter of all times. And I thought, Jesus didn't tap for our sins. And some people are always saying, well, he couldn't tap because he was nailed to a pole. But you could verbally tap in UFC. When your hands get twisted, or you could verbally say, I give up. And he never said that. And no matter what your beliefs are, there's facts that Jesus, it was in this universe. And, whatever your beliefs, and I don't push beliefs on people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just don't. And so I started this company. I wanted him to kind of be in the front light of the brand. And I just never really told people I owned it. And it flourished, and people loved it. And I didn't want it to be a Power Ranger brand, or I didn't want to associate, hey, well, I don't like JDS, and therefore I don't like what his brand. So I never wanted to merge the two together. But obviously it's out now, and everyone knows, and I think it's strong enough to stand on its own. I've represented a lot of UFC fighters in my life. I've struggled to get that brand up, and at this point now, I'm not too happy with where we're at now. And sometimes the CEOs needs to step back into the corporation and say, hey, let's get this to back where it used to be. And again, I don't do that. Like, we donate some of the money. I don't do all this for money. My reputation and God's reputation is on the line, so I want to make sure people experience just a positive clothing company. In fact, when people were saying, where should we say the shirts are made, I wanted to say made in heaven, And,
there you go. Good answer.
I had one guy that called me and was kind of upset one time, was like, I need to speak to the boss. I'm like, oh, I'm the boss of the company. And this is a very early stage in my career. And he's like, well, I need to speak to someone higher than you. I said, well, sir, you can speak to Jesus, because that's about all you got right now, and you can ask him. But as far as being the boss of the company, here I am. And so, we fix the issues, and I'm always out to fix things for people, because I never want them to have a bad experience. And when it comes to cons, I don't. I try to have every fan leaving happy, just like Wizard World. Every fan that leaves Wizard World, they love their fans, and everybody that works on the staff is fan-oriented. They know their stuff. They know what to do. John, the CEO, is a new CEO that's heading up Wizard World that I think is doing a great job. He might not know all the comic books and all the characters, but he's a pretty decent guy.
Oh,
he loves all of his guests, and he treats us very well.
That's cool. Well, make sure you put a shirt aside for me, because I definitely want to be sporting that gear for you, definitely.
I will, buddy.
All right. My last question for you before I let you go. I've done a little research, and I found out that you've developed your own type of martial art. If I butcher this, please forgive me. It's Tosu Kundo?
Yep, close. Tosu Kundo.
Okay.
I created that in 1994. And the reason why I created it is I just want to get away from the politics. In martial arts, we have testing fees, and you got to pay this belt to that belt, and that money goes to this master and that master. So I just eliminated all the politics. I started my own, company, Tosu Kundo, where it was kind of like you never had to pay a testing fee in your whole entire life. I mean, that's pretty much what my goal was. And I just had testing last night, which was a 4 or 5 hour test, and I was there, and I just want people to know that it's important to achieve a black belt, and this kid worked 8 years to achieve a black belt. My school's not known to sell rank. We don't promote you for any other reason. I'm a hardcore school, but we're one of the top schools in all of our areas, is because what we believe in and how we teach. People know that when they come to us, when they leave with the black belt, they're going to earn it. No belt is for sale. And I started that company because it was kind of my own, because I never wanted to charge testing fees, but at the same time, everything I was teaching was kind of like mixed martial arts, like UFC, and it went against a lot of traditional karate schools to say, hey, you can't teach this, you can't do that. Well, I'm not known for you can't do and you can't do that. I want my students to experience what life is all about, so I just blended a whole bunch of martial arts mixed together as one, and then it was, highlighted in Black Belt Magazine, that I just reposted on Instagram, that I'm happy to be. That was my best accomplishment in the martial arts, was to be on the cover of that Black Belt Magazine. And now my style is recognized worldwide by several martial arts, organizations and just people in general. So Tosu Kundo is translated to the way of the fighting fist. I mean, the bottom line is, when you're in the streets, you have to protect yourself. I need my guys to know how to protect themselves. We don't misuse karate or anything like that. You know, we live by our student creeds, and you know, we take care of ourselves. But if your family's in jeopardy and something's happening, I want to make sure that you protect yourself and you can walk away safe, because that's what my job is to teach these kids, basically install all the codes of the dragons that I learned as a kid, but at the same time, make sure that your kid comes home safe to you, the parents, on the end of the day.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Jason, before I let you go ahead and, in case new people are going to be hearing this, and of course, people are going to see us talking to you at Comic-Con down the road here in a couple days. But if they want to follow you or see what's going on with you and what you're up to, how do they do that?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty big in social media. You know, we reach about 5 million people a week, and I got about 520,000 likes, which I'm totally blessed on Facebook, because I pay a lot of attention to it. It's Jason David Frank official fan page. And I'm a big supporter of Instagram. Instagram and Twitter is the same, which is JDSFFN. And my prediction one day is Instagram will pretty much take over the world. People love it. It's easy to use. And I spend a lot of time on social media, but I do balance the two. But if I would prefer just to stick to one engine machine, I would definitely stick to Instagram. But I do have to balance the two. I switch back and forth to my apps on my phone. And Facebook is great, but I just love Instagram. You can post a picture and say where you're at, and people are following. I have a lot of ambassadors for the Team JDF, which basically I pick 3 people from each state, and they're my ambassadors. And they get a team shirt, and just keep it special. I follow them and, like their pictures and see what's going on. But they repost my stuff, and I just call them, an ambassador of the state, because they're representing what I stand for, that they have to have the same beliefs that I have. And, that's going like a wildfire right now, and we got a lot of state and out-of-country reps. And, my job is to make sure my message gets out there to everybody. And that's just, my message is simple, that you can do anything you want to do. You just have to believe in it. Never say, I can't. Always say, I can. And no matter if the person next to you says you'll never be that person, or you'll never be able to be an actor, or you'll never do this, just prove them wrong. And success is the greatest revenge, but you stay true to yourself and just keep succeeding. The more you succeed, the more haters you have. That means you have haters. That means that you're successful. And I just keep going about my business, but you can definitely reach me on those, JDF official fan page, and then JDF FFN, Instagram and Twitter.